Climate Change by Vicente Muñoz, Alonso Yarzo, Simón Acuña, and José Tomás Romero. What is climate change? Climate change is the variation in temperatures and weather in long term. What is global warming? Global warming is the increase of temperature in the last century due to human activity. This is caused by the use of new technologies that the Industrial Revolution brought.
Cause 1. Ocean currents and CO2 concentrations. Cause 2. Volcanic activities. Cause 3. Changes in orbit, axis, tilt, and precession. Cause 4. Variation in solar activity. And cause 5. CO2 concentration according to glacial cycles. The first cause, ocean currents and CO2 concentrations. The ocean carries and absorbs heat around the Earth. Also, when the heat is too high, the ocean currents change, and the CO2 and water vapor of the ocean are released into the atmosphere. Natural cause 2. Volcanic activities. During volcanic eruptions, ash, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide are released. The first two are bad for the atmosphere, contributing to the greenhouse effect, but the sulfur dioxide helps to counter this effect, helping against the global warming. On the other hand, the ash is removed within a few weeks.
Changes in orbit, axis, tilt, and precession. The Earth orbit, axis, tilt, and precession change constantly, influencing the temperatures of the season and what season it is. Variation in solar activity. Changes in the sun's energy output will change the amount of energy absorbed by the Earth, changing the overall temperature. The effect of this is the fluctuation in temperature. Glacial cycle. Levels of carbon dioxide varied according to the glacial cycles. During the warm interglacial periods, carbon dioxide levels were higher. It creates changes in the overall temperatures of the surface of Earth, including water. They amplify the temperature changes caused by long-term shifts in Earth's orbit, which is good.
Anthropic causes are damages or changes to the environment made by humans. Deforestation is the act of cutting down trees. In consequence of this, deforestation has 17% of carbon emissions in the world, and that has increased greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Agriculture releases a big amount of methane and oxide, ignoring the fact that it is also polluted with fertilizers, being responsible for the 17% total greenhouse gases emissions.
Another anthropic cause are the transportation methods. As we know, the majority of transportation methods, such as cars or planes, burn a big amount of fossil fuels, resulting in CO2 emissions. Also, the transportation are guilty of having 29% of total USA greenhouse gas emissions. Another cause that we have are the energy generation methods, being the cause that most pollute with CO2 in the world. Finally, we have cement production. Being one of the key materials of nowadays structure, is also a key material of CO2 emissions, being responsible of 8% of total global CO2 emissions.
Has climate change always existed? Climate change has always existed, as evidenced beyond natural cause. Although some natural causes are affected by our actions, they will still occur.
Climate change promotes extinction and appearance of new species. Climate change does promote extinction and appearance of new species. This is because the changes of the temperature make the species start dying, being a direct or indirect consequence, making these species evolve to survive. An example are plants in warmer climates generally have larger leaves with smoother edges, while plants in cooler climates have smaller leaves with more irregular edges.
Created using Powtoon.